Hello, welcome to Birch and Lily. My name is Amanda and this is my video podcast about knitting and cross stitch. Today is September 10th and I'm excited to show you everything I've been working on the past 2 weeks. If you have any questions about what I talk about today, you can find all of my show notes down below in the description. And if you have any questions that aren't answered there, feel free to ask me in the comments and I would be happy to give you an answer. I just wanted to say before I get started a big thank you to everyone who's coming back and joining me again. And if this is your first time watching my podcast, thanks for checking me out and I hope you enjoy. There are 2 places that you can find me on the internet. The first is on Instagram at birch.and.lily and the second is on Ravelry at birchandlily. So I guess let's jump right in to finished objects. The first finished, the only finished object that I have today is one that you guys have actually never seen before. I have been working on a design behind the wings, I guess. I just wasn't ready to show it to you guys until I knew that it was exactly the way that I wanted it. So it's finished now. So I guess I'll show you the bag I had it in. You guys, if you've been watching my podcast for a while, you have seen this bag before. It's from Birch Grove. I love it. It's perfect. Plenty of space to hold a sweater project or a shawl or anything like that. So I guess I'll show you the yarn that I used first for this project. There's a little sneak peek there. I think I did show you guys the yarn before. So this is what I used. 3 different colorways here. This one here is Mint Julep from Woolenboon on their 100% merino base. This is Autumn Crush from Hey Sister Yarn Co. on their 75/25 base. Unfortunately, Hey Sister is not dyeing yarn anymore. Totally valid reasons as to why they stopped, but unfortunately this colorway is not available anymore. But I started designing before I knew that they were going to stop dyeing, so I'll have to see if I can find a good alternative to put in the pattern for you guys for Autumn Crush. And then this final color here is Shell from Barnyard Knits. So yeah, this shawl is perfect to use up some of those random one skein colorways that you have hanging around in your stash that you don't really know what to do with. But I might as well stand up and give you guys a peek of the design. Oh look, you can actually see my face this time. I moved my, it's not really a desk, but what I put my phone on to record. I moved it further forward so that when I stood up I could hopefully have my whole body in the frame this time. But my mic is hanging here, so that might make things a little interesting. I might have to move a little bit closer when I actually open up the shawl here. But, oh no, this is fine. Here you have it. So, yeah. Lots of garter stitch, very simple lace in the green section, stockinette stitch in the deeper red Autumn Crush colorway, and if I come closer here, it has a picot bind off along the edge of the whole shawl. So this is a half pie shawl construction. Very, very easy, very minimal. How do I describe that? You decrease, you increase very rarely, but it still gives you this beautiful, beautiful, massive shape. It's very, very drapey, which allows it to grow a lot. When you're working on it, it looks quite small, but once you block it, it grows like crazy. So, the reason I'm showing you guys this shawl now, I guess I can sit down. So the reason I'm showing you guys this shawl now is because I have a testing call out for the pattern. So basically what that means is I'm looking for people to take my raw version of the pattern, knit the shawl up, and look for any mistakes. So the testing period for that, right now I have it set to have the shawl finished by October 11th, but if I don't have enough people apply that I find eligible, I guess, there are some stipulations to applying, certain things that you have to meet and all that. But if I don't have enough people apply, I will be extending the date to October 25th for the finish date. So if you would like to apply, but you can't have it finished by the 11th, you can only have it finished by the 25th, you think, please just let me know. There's a section on the application to leave any extra notes. Just let me know that you are applying to have it finished by the 25th. Totally fine. I probably 99.9% will end up extending the date to the 25th. So yeah, I will have a link down below in the description that you can click on. It will give you all the information that you need for the test knit, and it will give you a Google form to apply to test that shawl. It has no name yet, that's why I've been calling it that shawl. So I guess if you have any suggestions for names, please leave those down below as well. I would really appreciate that. So that is my only finished object, because it's been getting a lot of attention in the past little while because I wanted to get it done. I've been working on it for a very, 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 very long time. Much ripping out of half-done shawls. But I'm very, very happy with it now that it's done. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I'm very excited to get the pattern out to you guys. So I guess we'll jump into works in progress. I think I'll start with all my socks, just because those go pretty quickly, and I can give you guys a peek of what I've been working on for socks. Okay, so my first pair of socks is in another bag by the Birch Grove. These are my Irving Socks. It's a pattern by Jaclyn, Salem. I'm using a 2.25mm needle for these, a US one, and I cast on 66 stitches. That was the called for amount of stitches for the medium-sized sock. So, as of today, I have one sock finished. I'll turn this little Pop-Tart Progress Keeper from Bunny and Toot. So that is my first sock. Really, really loving it. I did make a couple changes to what was called for in the pattern. The pattern calls for a 1x1 rib. I changed that to a 1x1 twisted rib. And then it also calls for, I believe, just a normal slip stitch heel flap and gusset, but I added a garter panel down the side of the heel flap. So yeah, I'm very, very, very happy with this. The pattern is super easy to memorize. I have it memorized now, which I think is the reason why I've been putting most of my work into this pair of socks, because I have it memorized. I don't have to carry a sheet of paper around with me all the time with the pattern on it. And yeah, I'm very, very happy. This yarn is a Gilmore Girls Club sock set from Woolberry Fiber Co. I believe it was from August 2018. It's called Vicious Trollup. If you're interested in it, you probably can find it on Ravelry in the D-stash section. Don't quote me on it, but I would start looking there. So I think what I'll do, I'm just going to flip this sock around on the blocker so that you guys can see the pattern on the front and the back a little bit better. So this always looks kind of funny, but that gives you an idea of what the front of the sock looks like a little bit better. So it's got these beautiful, really simple cables here, and it's kind of feather and fan running down the middle. It's a little bit different than feather and fan, but quite close. And then the back has just some purl ridges. Super pretty, adds some interest to the back of the sock. So, like I said, I have the first sock finished. This Progress Keeper here was where I was last episode. So I had finished the whole heel flap and gusset on the last episode. And as for the second sock, I think this is the smallest start of a sock I've ever shown on the podcast, but that's my second sock. I just cast it on so that I could hopefully ward off the second sock syndrome a little bit. So it started, and it will get some progress at some point. So the second pair of socks that I have to show you are my usual Desert Vista Dyeworks socks. I'm just going to show these ones off really quickly this week. I'm not going to give you the whole spiel on what the Desert Vista Dyeworks monthly knit along is. If you don't know, feel free to check one of my previous episodes. I've explained it. I'm pretty sure I explained it in the episode before this one. So yeah, if you want information on that, please check that out. And they are in a bag by Studio in the Green. I love this bag. It's super cute and springy and fun, and I love fall. I'm very excited for fall, but something about cute little springy project bags just makes my heart sing. So this is the bag that these socks are in, and I'll show you the ball of yarn here really quick. This colorway is called Big Magic, and it has embroidery floss on it. This is called Big Magic. It's on her Vista base, which is a 75/25. And this is what I have done so far. So usually these socks are my on-the-go knitting, so I keep them in my purse all the time, and if we're driving somewhere for a while, I'll pull them out, or I really like bringing them into movies and working on them in the movies. We haven't gone to a movie at all this month so far, so I haven't got tons of progress. Usually the movies is where I get all of my work done on my Desert Vista Dyeworks socks. So the only other things I have to say about these, they are on a 2.25 millimeter needle, a US 1. I cast on 60 stitches for my stockinette socks. I find that fits me the best, and I always do a 2x2 rib. So yeah, my vanilla socks for the month. And I have one other pair of socks on the needles right now. They are in a bag from Knit 2 Together Studios. I believe her name is Sue Triber. It will be linked down below as always. And I am knitting a little bit of a mashup of a couple patterns on these socks. I'm knitting them out of a club colorway from Maker's Haven. The name is really long, so I'm not going to say it because I don't think you can even get it anymore. It's from a couple years ago at least. But the pattern I'm knitting are the Cozy Autumn Socks by This Handmade Life, and the little bit of a mashup that I did is using the picot cuff from the Sweet Sadie Socks. So here's the front of them here. The Progress Keeper is where I was last episode. So last episode I was about halfway through the gusset on the heel flap. So yeah, this is the picot cuff that's in the Sweet Sadie Socks. I really, really love it. It's super cute. And then the pattern is just this beautiful mock cable. So same as the Irving Socks, I did substitute a garter stitch panel on the side of my heel flap and gusset. And yeah, just been knitting away on these. Really enjoy them. This Progress Keeper here is from Random Fandom Bags. It's a little Dorothy. Super cute. And yeah, 2.25 millimeter needle. I cast on, I think, 60 stitches for these socks. I wasn't too concerned about that though, size-wise, because let me preface that with, usually a pattern sock I'll cast on 64 stitches for myself. But I wasn't too worried about that size-wise just because of the picot cuff, because it doesn't cinch in as much as a regular 2x2 rib or anything like that. So it still has tons of stretch, but it just, doesn't cinch in on the calf as much. So 60 stitches should be just fine. And yeah, really enjoying these as well. So I kind of flew through the socks there, but I figured they're socks. The majority of it is mostly the same construction. I always do a heel flap and gusset on my socks. It's very rare I don't. I always use a 2.25 millimeter needle, and yeah, other than the pattern of the sock and the yarn and all that, they're pretty much the same. So yeah, I guess if you have any questions, something that I missed saying about those socks, feel free to ask down below, and we will jump into some of my larger projects now. So the first one I'm going to show you is a new one. You guys have not seen this yet. I cast it on maybe a week ago. This is a test knit for Lindsey Fowler of Lost and Fond. This is her Bronte sister shawl, and it is coming out middle of October, I think, is when it's coming out. So I have this in a bag by that crafty little fox. I think it's the medium size bag. I've got 3 skeins of yarn in there, and there's plenty of space. So really like those bags as well. And I guess I will show you the yarn that I am using first. This shawl, there's 2 ways that you can knit it. You can either knit it with just 1 colorway of yarn, or you can do 3. So what I've chosen to do is the 3, and I have gone through all of my yarn, all my single skeins that I have sitting around in my yarn stash, and picked out 3. Funny enough, they are all Woolberry Fiber Co. club colorways. I apologize. I keep using so many club colorways, and I feel bad because you guys probably can't get your hands on them. But I'm sure you can find something quite close from Woolberry Fiber Co. She dyes up the most beautiful, beautiful wearable colorways. And I'm sure she has something about in the range of these that you could make work. But this is what I have going on. This top one's blowing out ever so slightly, but the middle one and the bottom one are pretty darn accurate to what they look like. So this first one here is on their Berry Merino base, so 100% merino, fingering weight, and it is called that really weird word that no one can pronounce, hygge? I think that's it. So it's this beautiful creamy peachy sort of color with speckles of deeper peaches and all that sort of fun stuff. And then the second colorway here is called, I was right, I didn't have to check. This one is called Granny's Blanket. This is the one I'm working with on the shawl right now. This is on her 80-10-10 base. So 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. It is so soft and squishy. Oh my goodness, I love it so much. So it's got those beautiful peachy tones in it as well, a little bit more of like a blush rose tone, and some speckles of blue and all sorts of different colored speckles. And then the final color that I have here, the ball is coming undone a little bit, is called Broken Pottery. This is also on the 80-10-10 base, and it is this beautiful, beautiful rose gold, orangey sort of color. I can't wait to break into this skein. So yeah, that is the 3 colors that I'm using for this shawl. And if I can hold it up here, this is what I have going on so far. So it is a triangle shawl, very simple construction wise with all of the increases. And then it has this beautiful, I believe Lindsey calls it like a Gothic cathedral lace going on. Yeah, I love how it alternates which side of the triangle that the lace is on every time. I'm really excited to have it blocked and have all that lace open up and just see how beautiful and drapey this pattern is going to be. It's so soft and squishy already. So yeah, I'm working away on this to have it ready for the pattern release in the middle of October. The 14th is sticking out in my head, but it's somewhere in the middle of October. I will try and make sure I have the exact date linked down in the description for you guys, just so you know when to keep on the lookout for it. But yeah, I've been really enjoying that. A lot of my knitting time has been going into this. She's been releasing the pattern in sections, so every time a new section comes out, I try to knit all the way through it and get it done before I jump onto working on something else. So yeah, really excited to see how that grows and see how it blocks and wear it this winter. It's going to be so snuggly and wonderful, and I'm so excited. So I have one other project to show you guys. And before I show this, I do want to preface that the designer of this pattern had a little bit of some interesting stuff going on Instagram in the past couple weeks. So I have decided that I'm going to show it to you because I started it before all of the stuff went down, but I'm not going to show it. But I'm not going to tell you the designer's name. I'm not going to tell you the pattern name, just as I don't want to give any attention to this designer until we figure out what their stance is on racism, all that stuff. That's been a big discussion in the knitting community right now, a very big and important discussion. And I just want to let you guys know that my stance is everyone is welcome here on my podcast. Everyone is welcome on my Instagram channel. I do not care about your race, your gender, whatever. If you want to be here and you want to watch my podcast, you want to interact with me, I would love to. You are welcome, and I'm so glad you're here to spend time with me every 2 weeks. If you do have any further questions on how I feel about the topic, about the discussion, feel free to ask me. Message me on Instagram, ask me in the comments. I'm an open book. But yeah, like I said, I just don't feel comfortable giving the designer any attention at this point in time, just as she is a little bit silent on Instagram right now about her stance on the situation. But I'm still working on the sweater because I started it before all this happened. And yeah, how do I put this? I put a lot of work into it and I don't want to rip it out. And I'm sure some of you are curious about my progress from it because I have shown it on the podcast before. So I figured this was the safest way possible to show it, just not to give any attention, but show you the pattern. Give attention to the yarn dyer because the yarn is incredible, and go from there. So this is in a bag that I've shown before. I cannot pronounce the name, but it will be linked down below. It's a beautiful jean bag with this gorgeous pattern on the inside. And the yarn I'm using is from Cozy Poozy Yarn Co. It's on her 100% merino twisted singles base. I believe it's called Cloud. And these are, ooh, there's a hair. These are the colorways that I'm using. So this dark one right here is called Maple. The middle one is Honeycomb, and this beautiful greeny, I don't even know what, minty color is called Luna Moth. It is Luna Moth with no speckles. I believe she has a Luna Moth colorway that has speckles. So, pull out a project here. I won't talk about it too long, but I just wanted to show you the progress that I have made quickly. So, where that little progress keeper is, which is from Bunny and Toot. It's absolutely gorgeous. Little waffle with some butter and a cute little smile. So this is what I have done. Last episode I was at where that progress keeper is, so I have finished most of the color work. I have maybe 3 or 4 rows left, and then I will be moving into just straight stockinette for a while until I split for the sleeves. I mostly wanted to show this because I am immensely proud of this color work, especially if we're doing it in a single space. I don't think I ever thought I would do color work on a single space. I thought I would show you my floats really quick too. I'm very, very proud of this color work, and that's most of the reason why I wanted to show this to you guys, just to show that my color work has grown so much in the past year. So yeah, I think that's about all I'm going to say about this. Keep it short and sweet, but still show you guys the progress I've made. And yeah, next episode I guess I'll make a decision before I record if I still want to share it or not. But there we go. So that ends the knitting portion of my podcast. What do I want to say? If you have any questions, ask me down below. I'd be happy to answer them for you. I'm looking forward to, I guess getting some of these projects done and being able to cast some new things on. I have a stack, probably not that big, but I have a stack of patterns that I'm really, really itching to cast on, and I have yarn wound up for them already and everything like that. I have a couple new designs I'm working on, so yeah, lots of knitting, lots and lots of knitting. I think I'm more of a process knitter than a product knitter, because I just love getting it finished, working through it, seeing it grow, but when it's done, it's like, okay, cool, what's next? So, yeah. I have lots on the needles at all times, just so I guess I feel the progress and I don't get bored. I get bored pretty easily. I jump between so many projects in one day, but what can you do? Life of a knitter, I guess. So yeah, let's jump into cross stitch. And I guess if you aren't here to see the cross stitch, thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. So I have one finished cross stitch project, which is a huge win in my books. If you've been watching the past couple episodes, I've been having so much trouble with this tiny little thing. So it's finished now, and I'm so excited. I don't have it fully finished, which I should get done because it has the word September on it, and it's September, so it should be up in my house right now. But I finished it, and I just wanted to take a break from it and leave it be, and if it doesn't get fully finished until halfway through September, it doesn't get fully finished until halfway through September. It's fine. But this project is in a bag by Pretty Southern. She does these beautiful vinyl fronts. I'm covering up my project so you don't see it right away. Yeah, this is in a bag by Pretty Southern. And this is my September, ooh, I'm losing things. This is my September Little House Needleworks monthly cross stitch thingy. It's called September. But here we go. It's finally done. And it looks very pretty. You can't even tell where I made my mistakes. I've learned through this project that I can fudge cross stitch quite well. And if I don't tell anyone that there's a mistake, I've told you guys, but shh, our little secret. If I don't tell anyone that there's a mistake, no one's gonna know. So I'm very happy with this. This is on a 32 count natural linen. I used all of the called for classic Colorworks colors, and yeah, very pleased with that and can't wait to get it fully finished. The second project I have on the go is also in another Pretty Southern bag. I'll just show you the fabric on the back here because it's a vinyl front. But this is my Sunflower Manor by Hands On Design. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's getting close to finished, so now I kind of just really want to work on it so that it's done, because this is another fall project that now that September has hit, I just want all the fall projects up in my house. So here we go. So the very bottom corner there, that is the bottom of the whole project. So I don't have tons left. That little swirl starting there, right here, that's the word home, which I'm sure you've seen because I'm sure I've popped a picture up here already, but that will be quick and easy. There's no filling in on that. And yeah, I love it so much. It's so pretty. I'm stitching this on a 28 count black Lugana, and I am using all the called for colors for this as well. Hold it. It's really blowing out. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so this top portion here, that's all finished. Minus those two little flowers in the grass there that aren't filled in, but the rest of it is all completely finished. Oh, and also minus the Smyrna crosses. But I like to leave those and do those at the end for who knows what odd reason. But yeah, really enjoying that. When my hands start to hurt from knitting so much, I usually will switch over to cross stitch, and this is the project that I have been switching over to a lot lately. So who knows, maybe I will have that finished by next episode. We will see. And we have one more project. It's in a bag. I'm sorry about the crinkling. This is a new start. I am working on this for my sister for Christmas, so I don't think she watches this, but Kayla, if you're watching, you need to stop watching right now. there won't be anything interesting after this, so you can just shut the video off and go on with your day, I guess. So yeah, let's show you this. This is called The Cats in the Rain by Madame Chantilly, and that is what I have going. So I have made some substitutions on this pattern. The hair on the girl in the pattern is a brown sort of color. The same color as her eyes, actually, a deep brown. I have changed it to this reddish color. I believe it's Manor Red by Classic Colorworks, to match the color of my sister's hair. And then I am changing this cat. I think in the pattern he's black, but I have changed him to orange, and I will be changing a couple of the other cats in the pattern to orange just because my family has orange cats all the time. So I figured that would be a fun substitution just to make it a little bit more personal for her. So it's not a super big pattern. I should have it done in no time. This will be a Christmas gift for her. I'd like to get it framed so she can hang it up in her new home that she's moved into. This is on a 36 count natural linen. And yeah, other than those two colors that I just told you I've changed, I am using everything else as the called for colors. Yeah, I really hope she likes it, and hopefully it's done quickly. I'm not sure what I'm going to do to frame it just yet. I think I will just put it in a frame. Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see. But that is everything I have to show you guys this week. I thought it would be a really long episode looking at my show notes behind me there, but it really hasn't been. So I guess if I missed something, you'll see it next episode. If I missed telling you something, I keep saying this over and over and over and over. Sorry if it annoys you, but you can always ask me down below. I'd be happy to share any information with you. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys again in 2 weeks on a Tuesday. Take care.